Okay, thanks everybody for coming. We will go ahead and start the webinar. So thank you so much for being part of the third webinar. If you're here live, appreciate it. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you for viewing the video. So we will go ahead and jump right into the webinar today. So just a couple details. If you're watching, please make sure that you have your microphone muted. That's just so we don't get any feedback coming back to any of the presenters. And then also you are more than welcome to leave your video on. That's great, but you don't have to. So if you want to turn your video off, that's totally fine. We understand it. Again, you can take notes if you'd like, but everything that you see today on the screen, I will send out to you afterwards so that you have a copy. And then this is being recorded, so I will post this on YouTube tomorrow afternoon so that you'll have a copy to share within your organization, and anyone that wasn't able to be here today can see it as well. So just a quick look at what we're going to go over today. I'm going to do a really quick recap of the last two webinars. It's going to be very high level. And then JoAnn McIntosh is here with us today. She's going to talk a little bit about the Clarksville Sustainability Board, which I mentioned very briefly last week. And then she's also part of the Sierra Club. So she'll give us a little update on some of the things the Sierra Club has done within the community. And then I wanted to take a bit of time to go over the annual banquet for 2021. And I'm getting a little bit of feedback, so just make sure if you're on the call that your microphone is muted. Perfect. So I'll go over the details for the banquet of 2021, and then I will also hit the annual awards for this year as well. I'll go over all the details of what awards we have and how you can apply for them. Great. I want to do a really quick recap just to cover the things that we've already gone through. The first is, sorry, I'm jumping ahead on my slides. I apologize. All materials are due August 1st, so please make sure that you get those to me by the August 1st deadline. The second one is anyone that has any videos or photographs for the virtual visit. That is fantastic. If you need help getting those to me, please let me know. I can do a file drop, or I can also pick up a USB, whatever's easiest for you. Finally, these videos that you are watching can be included as part of your employee education. So that is something that is available to you if you want to use that as part of that requirement. Goal setting, we talked a bit about during the last webinar. If you need help with what a good goal would be, let me know and I can help you with that. I can give you examples, or we can walk through it together and set one. And finally, I am available if anyone is interested. I can actually come out and do trainings for your organization. I can pre-record them if you want something to be able to show to your employees or post on your website. I do live webinars as well. So if you want it recorded, that's great. If you want me to do it live, I can do that too. So that is completely free, and that is open to any organization in the Green Certification Program. You can pick any sustainability topic. If I don't have experience in it, I can go reach out to some of our other professionals in the community and they can speak to those items. So always keep that in mind. That's something that's always available to you. So, and again, that's completely free. That is part of the program. So anything you need on that, I'm happy to do. All right, so there's our quick recap of the past two webinars, and we will jump right into the third webinar with our presenter for the day. So I will turn the time over to JoAnn McIntosh to lead us in the next portion. Go ahead, JoAnn.
Hi, I'm JoAnn, and I'm the local group of the Sierra Club in Clarksville, Montgomery County. And if you don't know about the Sierra Club, it's an organization that was founded actually back in the late 1800s to promote responsible use of the Earth's resources. And I got involved with the Sierra Club back in the 1970s, so long time affiliation. I actually attended the first Earth Day as a high school student back in Champaign, Illinois. Our local schools decided that they would let all the high school kids out to go to the U of I, University of Illinois, for that day to attend all the the seminars and events, and it just changed my life. So I've been a longtime advocate for environmental issues and for sustainable living. And in 2018, we formed the Clarksville group of the Sierra Club and have been working on getting more local engagement on sustainability issues. And last year, we decided that we would poll the city council candidates. There were 22 people running for city council, and we sent them all a list of 5 sustainability questions and asked for their opinions and asked if they would be interested in attending a public forum. And we got responses from half of the group, from 11 city council candidates came to our forum and answered questions and talked succinctly. So last fall, we started working on the sustainability resolution to present to the city council to advocate for creating a sustainability board. And in February, we made our presentation to the city council. So the first few slides here are going to be what we presented to the city council. Thanks. So, very importantly, you need to define what we're talking about. What's sustainability? And in a nutshell, they are practices that meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainability is forward-looking and proactive. It's not just maintaining the status quo. It improves resiliency for communities in situations where you might have emergencies and so on. And it recognizes opportunities that will benefit the community. Next slide. Sustainability is really the intersection of these 3 different factors: the environment, and economic and social aspects of the community. And keeping these 3 elements in balance is what creates sustainability. When one of them gets more priority, more attention over a long period of time, then things get out of balance, and then we do not have sustainable living. Next slide. We cited the need for a sustainability board in Clarksville, and we based this on research that we had done in cities across the state and across the nation that had sustainability boards or departments or directors or initiatives. And what we came up with is that we needed a designated standing committee of citizens with diverse skills and talents to study and advise policymakers. We need a body of stakeholders that brings diverse perspectives and transparency to sustainability policy formulation. We need the board to provide a comprehensive assessment of existing and needed sustainability efforts in Clarksville. We need the board to provide a strategic plan to plot a path to achieving sustainability goals matching and or exceeding those of peer municipalities, other cities in the state. And finally, we need the board to assess progress in meeting these goals and to advise on policy refinements going forward. Next slide. So this is just a map showing some of the other cities around Tennessee that have initiatives or boards already in place, and you can see there are quite a few. One of the things I kept pushing with the city council is that Clarksville is the 5th largest city in Tennessee, and nipping at the heels actually of Chattanooga for being number 4. And these other cities have sustainability boards, and we should too. Next slide. And this is just showing in some of the other cities, what are the areas that these boards are looking at: mobility, waste, energy, green space, environmental issues, and defining those categories and looking at all the issues contained within. So next slide. We made our presentation in February, and on March 4th, the City Council passed the resolution to create a sustainability board in order to focus the city's efforts to become a measurably sustainable community. The general goals being stewardship and preservation of natural resources, minimizing use of materials or processes that cause pollution, maximizing use of renewable natural material resources and efficient renewable energy, and the exercise of environmental prudence. These goals would be reached by raising awareness and educating city officials, employees, and the public regarding sustainability concepts, ideas, and trends. The benefits of employing sustainability measures, and importantly, the costs of failing to pursue such measures. So that is all contained within the resolution that was passed. So sustainable Clarksville is the goal. And actually, I had to show you this picture. This is a tree that we have out back. It's a giant willow oak. And I love trees as being symbols of sustainability and the way it works and the branching and the interconnectedness. And so, yeah, this is my image of sustainable Clarksville encapsulated in this giant willow oak. And what have we accomplished already? We are on the path to sustainability. So what have we already done? Next slide. Well, back in 2017, city and county worked together to create the Clarksville Montgomery County Sustainability Report. And Carly may have shown you this before, maybe already aware of this, but this was a project that was finished in 2017 after starting in 2014 and involving a number of people with the city and county governments, as well as other organizations and private citizens with expertise in the area. And the main areas that they focused on in the study were air quality, education, energy conservation, stormwater management, water quality and water conservation, and waste reduction. And those are all important elements. Next slide. You're also probably aware of the great success that Clarksville has had with their Greenway and Blueway plans, and the fact that, gosh, was it just last month, the new section of the Greenway opened? I'm very excited to celebrate that. It's just such a wonderful thing to have for the community to be able to get out and connect with the environment. There's often such a disconnect, and especially during the past year with the COVID and people being, locked down, quarantine. I'm a music teacher by profession, and some of my students I would talk to week by week, and they hadn't even left the confines of their house. They hadn't even been outside. And it's just so important to be able to be outside and be connected to the rest of the world. So I love the fact that we have this great Greenway and Blueway system in Clarksville, Montgomery County. Next slide. Another great accomplishment, which you are all aware of, and I really appreciate being able to speak to you folks that are involved in this project, because you are already sustainability focused. So you know about the Recertification program and its great success since its launch in 2011. And the fact that Austin P was recognized as the best large organization last year. And if you haven't already, you probably will get to hear from Olivia Heron, the new sustainability coordinator at Austin P. I mean, what a great success story there. Back in 2008, actually one of our Sierra Club members was instrumental in forming the original sustainability, oh, no, I forgot what they call it. It's sustainability fee, I believe, that students pay at Austin P. And, over the years, they have focused more and more on sustainability within the university. And they had a part-time coordinator a couple of years ago, and they instituted some great cost-saving, environment-saving measures at the university. And they saved so much money that they were actually able to justify having a full-time position for the sustainability coordinator. So this is just a great success story that can be applied in other organizations as well. So these are the successes that we've already had. These are our accomplishments that we've had in Clarksville County. So where next? What are our goals going forward? And I can't help but talk a little bit about the elephant in the room often. Next slide. which is global warming, climate change, climate crisis. It goes by a lot of different names. But I came across this study last year, and I was really impressed by the numbers here. That 63% of Montgomery County residents believe that global warming is happening, and 54% think local officials should do more to address it. And the final one that really surprised me was that 68% think that environmental protection is more important than economic growth. You know, again, we're thinking about back to that balance of those three aspects, you know, the environmental, the economic, and the social. And when one gets out of balance, then you need to go back and address some of the things that got it out of balance and bring it back into balance. And I think that final percentage there is people being aware that, yeah, we have not paid a lot of attention to environmental aspects of the trio, and we need to get that more in balance because it's going to affect the other aspects as well, the social and the economic. And that's what we're starting to see with all the drastic effects of climate change across the world, across the country, the droughts, wildfires, heavy storms, flooding, and so on. And we need to get this back in balance. Next slide. So the climate change, the global warming, is really caused by, to a great extent, the burning of fossil fuels, which yield greenhouse gases. And this is just a chart showing that, yes, since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, that fossil fuels being burnt have created a situation where we have greenhouse gases, and they're called that because they hover in the Earth's atmosphere at high altitudes and create sort of a greenhouse effect where heat is being reflected back to the Earth that otherwise would escape. So that's why we have rising temperatures of the air and the sea and so on. So how are these gases getting up there? Well, first off, how many? 150 million tons of greenhouse gases are added to the Earth's atmosphere each day. That sounds impressive. What does that number actually translate to? Next slide. 150 million tons is equal to 1,500 of these giant aircraft carriers. I thought this was a great picture. I could sort of wrap my head around this number, seeing this, imagining 1,500 of these, the equivalent to 1,500 of these aircraft carriers going up into the atmosphere every single day is just stymieing. Next slide. And where do they come from? So on the left, we see in the United States, the greenhouse gas emissions are divided into different sectors. And currently the highest emitting sector is transportation. It just surpassed the electric sector, the power sector, a year or so ago. Industry, commercial and residential emissions, agricultural emissions, and so on. These make up the rest of the pie chart, but most of it's coming from transportation and power, from electricity. On the right side of the slide, you see, you know, who's emitting the most around the world. China, as you might or might not expect, is 28% of the world total of emissions. That's huge. US is number 2 at 15%. And India at 7%. So we are up there. And if you look at the bottom of that, this is the rank of the countries around the world for emissions in terms of tons per person. And the United States is pretty high with 18.25 tons per person. We live pretty large in the United States, and there are things that we can do to reduce our emissions. Next slide. So one of those things is embracing renewable energy. And in the last 5 years, this technology and the options have just advanced so quickly and to such a great degree. We have a lot of options, but certainly solar energy is one of the big options here. And this is impressive. I remember coming across this, I think, when I was still a student. You know, how much solar energy reaches the Earth. Every hour is enough to fill the world's energy needs for a full year. That's stunning. So it's just a matter of having the technology to harness this energy efficiently and economically. Next slide. A lot of companies are embracing going 100% renewable or setting net zero emissions goals by a certain date. And this is kind of a little slide, but you can see some folks down here. I noticed Train is on here, and a lot of other companies that you're probably familiar with. And maybe I'm speaking to some people here today who are associated with companies that have got similar policies and goals. Next slide. Something that has been building very quickly, has huge momentum right now, is the push for more electric vehicles. And I'm sure Carly has probably spoken some about that, and the great strides that we are making just in the state of Tennessee with the electric vehicle production, battery production here in Clarksville. There are new automobiles companies popping up. There's a new company in Memphis that I had never heard of before that is just solely electric vehicles. And if you didn't see this the other day, Ford has announced their new all-electric F-150 pickup truck, this is huge. This is definitely appealing to a different demographic than a lot of the previous electric cars had. And one of my favorite things about the F-150 is the battery is not only good for getting you down the road, but you can plug your power tools into it when you're out camping or whatever else. So multiple uses for the electric battery. So lots of really exciting things happening with technology and that are going to help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. So these are just a couple that I thought I would bring to your attention. And lastly, the future is ours to decide and plan for. And one of the things that I always kept in mind was this great saying that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. I think this is very pertinent and relevant to how we choose to live our lives and what kind of sustainability goals that we set for ourselves and for Clarksville. So that's my presentation. I'll be happy to answer questions. And Carly, I was going to say I could put my email or the Sierra Club Facebook in the chat.
That would be great. Go right ahead. And I can also send out your email when I send out the slides in case anybody has questions that don't get answered.
Okay, great. Thank you all.
Perfect. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for JoAnn? Okay. All right. Well, I will get her information out to everybody. And thank you so much, JoAnn. I appreciate you being here. That was a fantastic presentation. And yeah, if anybody has questions, please reach out to JoAnn. She's a fantastic resource to have in the community. So, and JoAnn, you're more than welcome to stay on the call. But if you have other things, you can jump off. Either way, it's fine. So thank you again. And quickly, just before we move on, I just wanted to say the Clarksville Sustainability Board, Olivia, who you met last week, and myself are doing a presentation this Thursday to the City Council, 4:30. So we will be presenting the information on the Green Certification Board and on Austin Peay's sustainability to the council members to give them some background on things that are already happening with sustainability in preparation of them setting up that board. And then also the sustainability report that JoAnn mentioned, if anybody hasn't seen that, that is on the Green Certification website. So you can, I believe it's on the home page. If you have any trouble finding it, let me know. I can get you the downloaded copy of that so you can see that. And then also talking about solar, we did a solar webinar. So if anybody has any interest in residential solar, or there was even some great information in there if you're considering solar for your organization, that is on the YouTube page. So when you get the link to this video, you can go in and see the other videos that are on the Green Certification YouTube page, and you'll be able to see the solar webinar that we had back in February. So great information there if you're interested in solar, either for your home or your business. So thanks again to JoAnn. That was fantastic. And we will move on to the next portion of the slides. All right, so I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about the annual banquet and then also the annual awards. So as everyone remembers, last year we held the banquet virtually, and we're actually going to do that again this year. Hopefully for 2022, we'll be able to meet in person. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to, but we really wanted to keep 2021 virtual again, just knowing that things were changing. So we will be holding it very similar to last year, same concept, same setup. Some details, it will be September 28th from noon to 1 p.m. So if you haven't already, put that on your calendar. Again, just 1 hour. It'll be held at lunchtime. So it would be great if organizations maybe brought their employees together, maybe had lunch and watched the banquet together. It's a good chance to again, just talk about sustainability and let your organization see not only what you're doing, but also what others in the community are doing as well. For attendees, there will be no cost to attend the annual banquet. I will send out an Eventbrite right around the 1st of August, so everyone can use that to register. Just follow the link and it'll give me your name and email address. That way I can send you the WebEx login information. Same as last year, you'll be able to log in and watch the entire event. If you are doing a large group of people, only one person in the organization needs to register. You don't need to have everyone fill it out. Just whoever plans on opening and starting the webinar, that's the only person that needs to register. And the banquet will include, similar to last year, we're going to have the mayors each have some opening remarks, and that's similar to what we did when we were able to have it in person as well. I will have some videos, and then we will have the recording of the certification and recertifications, and then also the annual awards. So that's kind of what you can expect for that hour. We will have, similar to last year, there will be opportunities for sponsorships. And again, the sponsorships, usually when we have the banquet in person, the ticket sales are what pay for the awards that we are able to give out, and then the venue. Because we are not selling tickets, sponsorships will be used to pay for our awards that we're able to give to our award recipients. So look for that information to go out probably in early June. And I anticipate that it'll be similar to last year, that we'll have 2 levels. We will have the high level, which will be a $400 sponsorship, and then we'll have a lower level, which is $100. The main difference is the presence of logo and how much time you have during the actual banquet. The 400 level, there's a video and a chance to give a little more information on your organization. But that'll be sent out in early June. And one thing I wanted to point out is, if you're filling out the level spreadsheet and you are planning on doing a sponsorship, or you are doing a sponsorship, there is a section in the outreach portion of the points spreadsheet. It is at the very, very bottom. It's the last section you come to. And there's a line item that says host or sponsor a community green event. By sponsoring the green certification banquet, it does actually count to that. I think that's an 8-point line item. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking at that and you're planning on doing a sponsorship. Make sure you take the points for that on your level spreadsheet. And then I want to talk a little bit about annual awards. So this is going to be coming up probably August timeframe, and really in July you'll hear me start sending out emails. I'll start to kind of reach out to everybody and ask for your award nominations. So just wanted to go over exactly what the awards are that we have each year. The first ones are the Level Up Awards. So everybody automatically in the program starts out at bronze. Based on the level spreadsheet, you can level up, and again, you can only level up during your recertification year. So the Level Up Awards are only based on the people that are recertifying in this year. So you can level up to silver, you can level up to gold, and you can level up to platinum. And so that's completely based on that level spreadsheet. So if you don't turn in the spreadsheet, obviously you won't be eligible for those awards. The next one is the Excellence Awards, and I'll go into those in just a second, but there's 8 of them, and you have to submit on those. We have the Best Overall Large and Small, That is also based on the level spreadsheet that you turn in. So again, if you don't turn that in, then you won't be considered for that one. The Ron Smithfield, I'll talk a little bit more about that one too in just a second. And then the most important thing on here that I want to point out is if you win any of the awards or you're selected, one of the things that we have to film this before the banquet. And so we have filming already set up. That's going to be September 8th from 9 a.m. to noon at Freedom Point at Liberty Park. So please be aware as you're putting in for these that filming will take place on that day. So please leave that open on your calendars. So I wanted to talk a little bit quickly about each of these awards and what they'll look like for this year. So anybody that levels up, if you level up to silver and gold, these come with little plaques. The silver one is clear, the gold one is gold. And you can see in the photos below that this was the recipients, some of the recipients from last year. These will be given out during the week of September 20th. So I will actually bring these to all the organizations and take your photo so that I can include that in the banquet. If you happen to level up and you get to the platinum level, which is fantastic, those are actually large glass awards, and the large glass platinum awards are actually presented in person. So if you make it to platinum level, those will actually be given out during the September 8th recordings. And again, this is only open to recertifying organizations because you can only fill out the level spreadsheet during your recertification year. The Excellence Awards. So these are the awards we give out every year. They have 8 categories, and we always do all 8 categories. You can see the different categories there. I will say, previous to 2020, we had asked all of the organizations to select what category they wanted to submit in. But last year, we actually took that off and just said, send us your submissions. And the board, when they're reviewing them, will determine what category they want to award in. The reason is because, especially on the recycling and the reduction and reuse, they could go into many categories, and we have really great submissions, and we don't want to have somebody submit on recycling and have us feel like, well, you know, really we could put that in reuse and they could have won the award. So we won't have you select your category. The board will determine who is the best applicant or the best nomination for each of those, and we'll select them that way. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out, is this land use or what exactly is employee engagement. Just go ahead and send us what you're doing, and we'll worry about that on our end. Your efforts do have to take place in 2020 or 2021. Yes, they can be ongoing. So if it's something that, say, maybe started in 2015, that's totally fine as long as you're continuing to do it. Or it can also be a project that you started in 2021 and you're just starting to see information coming back in, but you know later in 2021 it's going to be even better. That's fine too. You can go ahead and say, you know, this is our preliminary data coming in, but we know additional data is coming up too. So it's really open. If you have any questions on if your project counts, just let me know. I'm happy to check with the board and see if that's something we'll consider. Let's see. Most important, show how it's helped either your workplace or the community, the environment of either of those. Sometimes organizations do something that's totally outside of what they do every day. I'm thinking maybe a community cleanup or adopt a stream, things like that. Because you're helping the environment of the entire community, that still will qualify for an award. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just something that's limited to your organization, although those are absolutely fine too. So definitely consider things that maybe your organization is doing outside in the community as volunteer work as well. Submissions for this are going to be due August 13th. These have an early date for submissions, again, and that's just so that we can have the awards created in time for the banquet. So that is a very, very hard deadline. If anybody knows from previous years, I'm usually pretty flexible on my deadlines. The award submission is the one that I cannot change, and that is just so that we can make sure that everything is created in time for the banquet. And in order to be considered for an award, it's open to all the organizations. So different than the gold and silver, where you have to be on your recertification year, excellence awards are open to everyone. So every year you can apply for an excellence award. There's no restriction on it being your recertification year. And also, if you just certified this year, you're eligible as well. So these are just a couple quick photos. Last year, and this year is going to look very similar. This is the Freedom Point Center, so a fantastic location for photographs. We will not have masks this year. I don't anticipate us needing to follow that. So, and I think last year, if anybody submitted and is aware, we had a very strict number of people that could come in for the awards. I do not foresee that we will have a problem. I think you'll be able to bring in as many as of your team as you would like for those awards. I will probably still set them as times because I don't necessarily want everybody to have to spend all 3 hours waiting for the filming. So I probably still will tell you what time to come. But last year we were very strict on the number of people, and I don't foresee that being this year. So you'll definitely be able to bring more people with you to the awards. The best overall large and small awards. So this is completely based, first of all, on the size of your organization. So I know in years past, I've confused some people sometimes with an email sometime in September saying, hey, how many employees do you have? Please don't wonder why I'm asking. It generally has to do with this award. So small organizations are less than 100 employees. Large organizations are considered anybody that has greater than that number. So that's kind of our cutoff. And this is completely based on that level spreadsheet. We actually have the board review the amount of point changes between when you certified or the last time you filled out the spreadsheet, or if you haven't filled it out before, it's from 0. But they look at how many points have been added. If you haven't filled it out before, we take into consideration that obviously you weren't at 0, and we make a judgment call, and we award the large and small based on whoever's made the greatest jump. So there's a little bit of extra we have to do on those, just because if we do have somebody that hasn't filled it out before, obviously we have to consider what they've done. So again, this is another reason why the level spreadsheet is so important to turn in. It is optional, but it really helps us on the other side of the board when we're looking at things like awards and that. So definitely, if you have the option, please fill that out. That helps us a ton. And again, because it's based on that, it's only open to recertifying organizations, whereas the Excellence Awards are open to everybody. And usually the very final award that we give out at the banquet is the Ron Smithfield Award. This is given out to an individual rather than an organization. It's the only award that's given to an individual. And it is based completely on the work that individual has done for the community, and also to the Green Certification Program, but it's more of a community award than anything else. And it's open to anyone. They do not have to be associated with the Green Certification Program. It's open to anyone that is doing a fantastic job within the community, specific to the environment and sustainability. The photo that you see here is actually Tim Swa. He was he was on the Green Certification Board for many years, from the very first year, which was 2011. And he, at the time when he won this, he was working for Montgomery County as the HR director. And so he served on the board for many, many years. And he was our recipient in 2019. Actually, I think that's 2018 right there. So if you have anyone that you want to nominate for this award, I don't have an official submission form, but please just email me if you have a name you'd like to submit. This is an award that the board just discusses during the award submission when we review everything. We just discuss any nominations that we've got. So if there's someone that you would like to add to that, please email me their name, and I will make sure that they are on that for that selection. All right, everyone, that is everything that I have for the annual banquet and the annual awards. Does anybody have any questions? And I will also open this up. This is also the wrap up for our webinars. So if you have questions on anything that we've covered or anything sustainability, please feel free, unmute yourself and let me know, or type it in the chat. Give everybody a second in case there are any.
Carly, I just wanted to say thank you for being willing to be our host for our staff education that's coming up in June. I think it's important that we include our employees in our company initiatives, and it's always good to renew and refresh what the goals are and why we're doing what we're doing. And I think this year is going to be an excellent time to introduce JoAnn's Sierra Club, that we have one in Clarksville. So just thank you for being willing to host that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rose. And I'm more than happy to. So I'm actually going to Ultra at the end of June, and I'm doing about an hour presentation to their employees and talking specifically about reducing waste. So again, if anybody's interested, please let me know. I'm always happy to come out, and I love the opportunity to be able to share the information. So please keep that in mind anytime you're interested.
The only other question I have is, I know that the by county does not provide the recycle bins. Can you recommend or suggest where we can get those bins for our workplace?
Yeah, so if you're looking for actually to just purchase the bins themselves, I would suggest doing like a Office Depot. If you're doing a small number of bins, I'd say probably if you're doing under 10, they're probably the cheapest. Check Amazon as well. If you're doing a large organization, Uline or one of your larger business office supply companies, that's one that I would check for that. So it really depends on how many you need. If you're going over the 10 and you're able to get them in bulk, it's probably better to go with a specific store that handles that. But if you're under that, then I definitely price check between an Office Depot and Amazon, and research that. Locally, I know that Lowe's carries them. I don't know that Office Depot has them in stock, but I have seen them at Lowe's. So if you're looking for just a few, that's an opportunity as well. As far as collection right now for recycling, everything has to be taken individually over to the convenience centers. By county is not doing any collection. I do not know of any of our waste haulers that are doing recycling at this time. I have heard a few individual people out in the community that are picking up, mostly from residents at this point, and they're just kind of mom and pop organizations that have popped up that are doing that, really as in moonlighting almost in it. So, but I don't know of any organization that has actually set up a business that is specific to collecting recycling. So I will also use this time too to say quickly on the recycling, if you have filled out your point spreadsheet before and you had points in recycling because by county was picking those items up, please let me know, because that service has ended, and I've been working with everybody on points and how that changes based on that service ending. Let me know, and we can talk through how those points are affected based on that. So I don't necessarily want anybody to lose a level based on a service that has been discontinued. So please let me know. Any additional questions? All right. Well, I will go ahead and wrap up. If anybody has questions, reach out to me at any time. Reminder, please send me everything by August 1st for recertification. Don't worry, I will send you reminder emails probably quite a bit in July. So be looking for those. And if you have any issues getting things to me, let me know. The earlier you can let me know if you think you're going to miss the deadline, the better. That way I can just plan ahead. And again, let me know if anybody needs help with trainings in any way. Thank you to all our presenters. If you're not watching this live, please make sure that you email me so I get you credit. If you are here live, don't worry, I have everybody's name for attending. As soon as you log in, it gives me a printout, so don't worry. Thank you everybody for doing the 3 webinars. It's been great working with everybody. I love having all the organizations and meeting with you and hearing what everybody's doing. So thank you everybody. And yeah, that's it. That's the wrap up of our webinars this year. Have a good rest of your day.